What's up, Vapers? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today is Vlog Day. That's right, it is episode 25 of my Let's Vape vlog series, where we talk about a whole bunch of different topics affecting me and my life and the channel, as well as news and advocacy of what's going on in the industry. So with that, we've got some first impressions to do today. We've got some news and advocacy updates as well, some announcements as far as travel is concerned and things of that nature. Then we're going to go right into what I've been vaping on, followed by some vape drama alert. We've got a little bit of vape drama for you guys today, but that's about all I've got for you. This should be a relatively short one. So with that, go ahead and grab a drink, grab a chair, sit back, relax, and let's vape. Alright guys, so real quick, the first thing I wanted to talk about was a few little follow-ups to some of the reviews that I've been doing lately. I've got my icon right here on top of the Predator, which is exactly what I want to talk about, so perfect. But with that, maybe you saw it just there, but I've got my gold tip right here from DHD on top of this icon RDA, and I'm pleased to say that Goon and Kennedy tips will fit on this thing. I didn't think they would at first because I did try one of my Half Moon mod tips and didn't seem to really want to go in there, but with a little bit of lubrication on the O-ring, using some juice, I was able to squeeze this tip in there, which is great because now I've got nice matchy-matchy gold tips. I'm going to have to get myself another DHD kind of low-profile Goon tip for this thing here because I think those tips look gorgeous, absolutely amazing. So, yeah, with that, I just wanted to let you guys know that these tips will work. They are very much rock solid in there. It's not going to fall out whatsoever. I have zero fear of it falling out because it was so tight to get in there. However, that's actually almost a good thing for me personally because, as I mentioned in my video, that I prefer to take off this top cap to drip my coils, and with that, there's just not a lot of room to grab onto the actual top cap itself. So I've been finding myself just grabbing the tip itself to remove the top cap, which is perfect for me. I'm totally okay with that. And that actually kind of improves my vaping experience with this icon. So definitely a kind of bonus feature for me personally. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this Predator mod here. Kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a follow-up. You know, I have been using this thing and abusing this thing for the past 3 or 4 weeks now, I think, since I got it, and it's holding up really, really nicely. One thing, you know, obviously the comparison is going to be for the Alien mod versus the Predator mod. Duh. I mean, there's just obviously that direct comparison there, and I feel like that's kind of what Wismec was setting out to do with the Predator 228 here. But one thing that really kills it for me as far as the Alien mod is concerned is the paint job. The paint just falls off of those things. That's why I personally never actually tried to get one of those things myself. Really wasn't too interested in it. You know, I had my reservations about using a dual battery system, but, you know, I've kind of found that I've been favoring this thing a little bit more than I thought I would, just for the simple fact that it's a little bit slimmer and it's nice and easy to carry around and use, and it's just kind of overall just a little bit, I like the form factor of it. That's basically what I'm trying to say there, but with that, I wanted to give you guys a follow-up as far as the, you know, how the finish is holding up on this one. And I am kind of, you know, I hate to say this, but it is starting to see a little bit of wear and tear. Now, I am not one to really baby my mods. I like to use them and abuse them in real-world situations, and that's how I test mine. I mean, you know, some other reviewers might not go full force on their mods before they test them, but that's kind of the situations that I like to put these things in, just to give you guys a real world kind of scenario. If it breaks before I get to review it, then I have to report that. So with that, it hasn't broken yet, but I did take this thing down to Vape Showcase Atlanta with me, and it's held up really, really nicely. I actually have not changed this setup since I got down there with the icon on top. So with that, a few little minor dings and scratches kind of forming around the logo part up here at the top, and definitely some kind of rubbing wear and tear. I put this in a little vice bag. It's just a little kind of mod pouch thing, which is kind of padded on the inside, so it really shouldn't ding this thing up too much, but I just feel like it's been kind of rubbing around in there and wearing off some of that matte finish. Underneath, it's really nice and shiny. I'm not sure what material it is exactly, but but whatever it is, you know, a fairly cool looking material. So with that, maybe if it gets down too far, if it starts really wearing off as far as the finish goes, perhaps I'll just take the whole thing off and make it a nice shiny mod. But that day hopefully will never come. Until then, I'm just going to say that finish on this thing isn't as good as I initially thought, but it's not that bad. There you go. All right, so let's get into some first impressions. I've got two things to take a look at today. One of them you'll be seeing again in the very near future, but with that, let's start it off with this right here. This is not a JUUL. It is actually the Fix. This is by MLV Manufacturing, and the juice that goes in these pods here is actually made by Brewell. Brewell, I'm not even gonna try. These guys right here. Anyways, they've got 4 different flavors to try out, and it is 5% nicotine, and they are made with nicotine salts. So the pods are 1.5 milliliters, so you get a little bit of an advantage on the JUUL itself. It's very, very, very close to a JUUL as far as that's concerned. And the flavors, they do have some really good flavors. Right now I'm vaping this hard strawberry, which is fantastic. I have been loving this stuff. Can't really put it down. It's really difficult to put down, but with this one here, it's kind of that diamond shape, and I know it's going to be tough to see on in this view right here, but of course, when I do my full review, you guys are going to get a good breakdown on the size and shape and everything, especially in comparison to the JUUL. But it is kind of a diamond shape, which I didn't think I was going to like at first, but in actuality, in real-world situations, I find myself using this one a lot in the car, and when I have my hands on the steering wheel, I can hold this in my fingers just like that, no problem. And I am loving it. You know, so far so good with this one here. It does have a proprietary charger, which is magnetic, which is kind of cool. Actually, they demonstrated by swinging the thing around on the charger itself, and it did not let go. So that was definitely a good sales pitch as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I picked this thing up in Vape Showcase, or at Vape Showcase Atlanta, and I've been using it ever since, pretty much non-stop. They have some really good flavors. Can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they have like a nice kind of spearmint minty one. They have the hard strawberry, and they have a butterscotch tobacco, I believe. I'll list them down in this corner somewhere for you guys. But with that, yeah, the flavors are good. Function-wise, I think it's really nice. So this thing has magnetic pods that really keeps them into place, which is kind of nice. It doesn't have any sort of like clickiness when you put it in there. It just kind of goes in, and then it locks into place, and you can easily switch the cartridges out. Another really cool feature about this device here is actually in my pocket, and this right here, this is the cap to the hard strawberry pod. Now, one cool thing about it is obviously you can recap it if you wanted to, but if you're out and about and you put this thing in your pocket and you don't want to get lint or dirt or juice in your pocket or anything like that, you can just put that top right on there. So that way you know exactly what flavor that is. Also, you can identify if you have more than one of these systems, which one you've got in which one, which pod you have in which system. There, that's pretty difficult to say, but yeah, I really like that. The one thing I have noticed about it is the fact that I still get a little bit of juice resonating kind of in this little tip section here, but overall it's not a bad experience, I have to say that. But yeah, so far really digging this thing. And next up, we've got this guy right here, this weird looking egg looking thing. This is actually a pod system e-cig as well. This is called the NV Fit. It's really awesome. It's got this great fit and finish to it. It feels really awesome in the hand. It's got this rubberized drip tip, or mouthpiece I should say, and the pods hold a heck of a lot of juice. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, they hold a ton of juice, which is great. I mean, one of these pods will last you almost a week. I mean, for me, off and on, one of these pods definitely will last me at least a week. So for you guys out there that might be, you know, either a heavy vapor or someone that doesn't want, you know, something too crazy but still wants to get their nicotine fix without having this ginormous mod, these are going to be a good option. They use 18 milligram nicotine, regular nicotine, not salt-based nicotine in their pods, which is awesome. Not sure at this point whether or not they have other nicotine levels available, but I will be sure to mention that in my full review. A couple cool features about this thing. First of all, it is either mouth to lung or direct to lung. You could pretty much have your choice with this one here. It's pretty comfortable either way you go. It's a little bit looser for the mouth to lung. It's a little bit tighter for direct to lung. So if that makes any sense, but you can definitely do it either which way. Personally, I prefer to do it mouth to lung because for 18 milligram, I really don't want to, you know, get way too much nicotine by doing direct to lung inhales with this thing. And yeah, I do tend to cough with it a little bit if I do that. But with that, it is also a great little button device or automatic draw. So I can switch this thing right now. The little pink LED indicates that it's in automatic draw mode. So I can just puff on this thing, and it's going to fire up no problem. And I can also tap the button 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then it's switched over, as you can see by the blue LED, to button mode. So now it's only going to fire when I hit that button. Personally, if you like to do primer puff whenever you're vaping on one of these things, you can do that in this mode here. That way it kind of heats up the coils a little bit before you take your actual inhale. So that's kind of how I used to vape back in the day. Whenever I used to vape on my little 510 stick batteries, I used to take a little quick primer puff, but this way you can do that no problem. It's going to heat up your coils and you're going to get a really good rush of nicotine, that's for sure. One thing that I really love about the Envy Fit system is the flavors that you get with the starter pack. Now, I got the tobacco starter pack for 2 reasons mostly. This is another one that I picked up at Vape Showcase Atlanta, and by the time I got to visit their booth, they only had the tobacco and cream starter packs left. Personally, I like to put myself in the shoes of a current smoker whenever I try these devices out. So with that, I decided to go with the tobacco flavors, and the flavors that you get in the box are fantastic. They are out of this world. I mean, 4 of the best tobacco vapes, in my personal opinion, come in this kit here. We have Screwbacco, which I'm vaping on right now. We've got VCT from Ripe Vapes. We have Brewell's tobacco. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. And we also have the Pistachio RY4 from Charlie Noble. So 4 amazing, fantastic, love them kind of flavors are in that starter kit, which is great. I've been absolutely loving my experience with this thing so far, and there's just so many cool little features about it. I really do enjoy. 2 taps on this thing, 1, 2, and it shows the battery life right there. Green obviously means it's fully charged or you know, relatively charged. Then it goes yellow and red. It charges. It does take a little while to charge, so I feel like this thing's probably going to be on the charger for a couple of hours. So the battery life on this thing is phenomenal. I get hours and hours and hours out of it. I charge this thing maybe once every 3 days, if that, with a standard micro USB, which is just equally as great because you can charge it with pretty much anything you got laying around. If you got a phone charger, or if you're sitting at your computer, you can just kind of plug it in, and you can also vape on it like that as well. So with that, so far, loving it. Really don't have much bad to say except for the fact that the pods are a little bit extra juicy, I guess. They kind of tend to leak a little bit out of the bottom section, but I don't know. I think with something that has this many features on it that I love so much, I can kind of forgive them for that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about real quick was what's been going on with me and what's going on with the channel and stuff like that. So, well, yeah, I mean, obviously things are starting to look a little bit different around here. My backdrop or background may look a tad different because I got a new light. I'm just kind of always playing around and tweaking my setup just ever so slightly. You guys probably don't even notice that much of a difference, but I definitely notice it when it comes to editing. As far as editing is concerned, I have a new laptop now, so I'm able to edit on the go, which means if I go to events and stuff like that, I might end up doing daily kind of uploads and stuff like that while I'm out at events, which is going to be a lot of fun for you guys as well. I know I totally failed as a vlogger as far as Vape Showcase Atlanta goes, and I do have to apologize to you guys about that because I really wanted to get you guys some footage, but unfortunately, as you guys know, I am dealing with Blaz right now. I am, you know, partnered up with them, and I was on that trip on their dime. So with that, I was not able to really leave the booth for long enough to where I could get some good solid footage. I did record a few little bits here and there, but it really wasn't enough to put together for a full-length vlog. But I had a blast while I was there. You know, Brandon Finney puts on a hell of a show. Those guys did an outstanding bang-up job, and I just wanted to give them a huge, massive shout-out because they really kind of just reinvigorated me personally with the love of going to conventions, because, you know, the past couple that I've been to have been a little bit on the slower side, and, you know, that definitely hurts. That sucks because you want, obviously, to have a lot of fun and meet a lot of people when you go to these things, and the past couple I've been to were a little bit on the slower side, so it's just nice to see the convention spirit being alive and well. But yeah, a shout out to Brandon and his team for just putting on a really, really good classic show. It was a blast. There was a ton of people there. I got to meet a couple of you guys, so thank you everyone to that that came up to me and said hi, and you know, the couple of people that had me sign autographs. You guys are the best. You really are the reason that I can keep on going. So thank you guys so very much. But yeah, with that, actually, that kind of segues me right into my next topic, which is travel. Gonna be announcing that I will be, of course, going to National Vape Expo in Foxwoods, or at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Hopefully see you guys all there. All my local people, of course, I will be seeing them there, so can't wait for that. I feel like that's going to be a hell of a show as well. I know Craving Vapors signed up to be a major sponsor. Giant Vapes, of course, because that's their hometown or right next to their hometown. So I know there's a lot of big players that are going to be there, and I'm going to get to see a lot of people there as well. So hopefully see you guys all there too. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up May 6th and 7th. Yeah, so I think that's all that I've got locked in right now. There's a few that are on the horizon that I've been thinking about, potentially Midwest Vapor Expo. I don't know. So if you guys are anywhere in the Columbus, Ohio area and you want to come see me at Midwest Vape Expo, just, you know, let me know in the comments. Maybe it'll make it worth my trip. There's also something on the horizon that I'm not ready to announce yet because I haven't really confirmed everything, but I am working with a couple of people right now to try to make it happen. And let's just put it this way. If something further develops, then I'll let you guys know, of course. But with that, that's pretty much all the travel that I've got in my immediate future. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the big win for New York State Vapers. I've been following the story for a while now, and I am happy to say by the time I did this vlog here, I am able to give you guys some good positive news as far as that goes. It started off as a proposed 40-cent per milliliter tax for New York State, which would probably be, you know, a big hit to the industry. I don't think it would be industry killing. However, it would put a, you know, huge burden on New York State vape shops and, you know, independent businesses like that. So, you know, there's a lot of bigger companies that you wouldn't think that have come out of New York State, including, you know, Bad Drip. Bad Drip is out of upstate New York. So I think that would put a huge hit on bigger companies like that, as well as vape shops all across the state. But I'm happy to say that first they lowered that. There was a revision of the tax to 10 cents per milliliter, which would have been a little bit easier to overcome that. But, you know, you're still talking 30 mil would cost you an extra $3 per bottle. Again, not industry killing, but it would definitely put a damper on a lot of people's spirits in the state of New York. But with that, the next revision or the next piece of news that came out was the fact that the entire vaping language was removed from the bill, which is definitely a huge win for New York State vapers. New York State Vaping Association, or Vapor Association, have been gathering resources and going and speaking with their legislators about this bill and these bills that are popping up. And you know, it's this groundwork that really makes a difference. So shout out to Andrew Osborne and all the people in the NYSVA for doing all that hard work and getting this particular bill turned around. As far as you guys out there, what can you do to further help the situation? First and foremost, go check out the New York State Vapor Association. I will, of course, provide you guys with links down there in the description below. If you guys want to help fund them, I'm sure there's a way you can do that. You can still write letters, make your phone calls, just, do your part, in advocacy. That is really what counts. And they want to, obviously they're paying attention to the people's voices out there. So make sure you do your part and help along with this fight here. But, just want to give a big shout out to all the businesses and everyone that came together to form this New York State Vapor Association. So they did a wonderful job. Obviously, this should be kind of the benchmark standard for advocacy in other states. The state fight is not over, everybody. So we've won this battle, but there are a lot of other smaller battles to be fought before we win the war. And with that, I guess there's going to be other standalone bills on the table as far as New York State is concerned, with vaping language in them. So I don't see anything specifically on their page as far as specifics about each of these individual bills or anything like that. But of course, I will deliver that information to you guys as these stories progress. But with that, a small battle has been won by Andrew and his team. So a round of applause for them. Really, really well done. I really have to just say thank you guys for that. I mean, this doesn't just affect New York State. It affects the entire country, because this is basically going to set some precedent for how we advocate as an industry. So very well done. Hopefully we can have more stories like that in the near future. All right, guys, so it's time to talk about what I've been vaping on. So since I left for Vape Showcase Atlanta, this setup has pretty much never left my hand. This is the Predator 228, the Icon RDA, and DHD cap on top. So yeah, I really dig this setup. It's just the perfect pocket-friendly kind of go-anywhere type of device. I love the airflow on the Icon RDA. It's very smooth for me personally. I like the way I have it all set up. I really don't want to change it around too much, so I'm going to hate when I take this build out of it. But with that, I do like this DHD cap on top. I was using these standard tips that come with it for the longest time, but once I found this one, I just feel like it makes it kind of flow a little bit nicer. It's got the gold here with the gold ring around the bottom of the Icon RDA, and it definitely matches the kind of overall color scheme of this thing here. But yeah, really loving this thing. I've got some space coils in there right now, vaping at 100 watts, and the flavor that I'm vaping on is this stuff right here. This is the Vape Parfait by Vapetasia. It is fantastic. I haven't found another parfait flavor like it out there, period. Vapetasia really knocked it out of the park with this one here. I cannot get enough of this stuff, and I've already gone through their strawberry one, a whole 60 mil already since they sent it to me. So yeah, I went on to this blueberry one here, and it is so good. Blueberries, nice, fresh, kind of tasting blueberries with a little bit of yogurt, and you get a little tiny hint of that like kind of granola taste to it, but that is very much enjoyable. Really one of the only kind of dessertier flavors that I enjoy. Definitely been digging this stuff, and it's actually pretty nice on cotton. I've had the same cotton in here since I left for Vape Showcase. So the cotton is still on the lighter side. I mean, it does have a little bit of color to it, but overall, it's completely acceptable for me. Usually, I'm pretty OCD about my cotton and changing my wicks every time I change flavor. But with this one here, I decided just to drip the blueberry right over the top of the strawberry, and I've been loving it ever since. So let's go ahead and have a pull on this one. The next setup I've got for you guys is really nothing new. You guys should be familiar with this one by now. It's the Rig Pig, but I do have something new on top here. This is the 2-post 25mm roughneck with a DHD cap on top as well. And the 2-post roughneck, I didn't give you guys my first impressions on it because I don't know. Does it really deserve a first impressions? It's not really anything dramatically different from their previous version of the 3-post. I don't know. Maybe I'll give you guys my first impressions in my next vlog, and that will still probably be before I get to review this thing. But I do plan on doing a few builds on it, and I do plan on doing a full review of the standalone Roughneck 25mm. So just be patient with me, and I'll get to that as soon as I can. But with that, nothing new about this setup here. The juice that I've got on the coils is some Weirdo Vape. This one is their Nerdy Creamy Candy, and I gotta say, It's good. It is really good flavor. Definitely digging it. It's nice and, you know, smooth. It's got that like kind of, I hate to call it nerds. I don't think it really tastes like nerds to me. It's more like, I don't know. It's really tough to place. It just kind of got that generic candy flavor. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I prefer the green version, which is almost like a tropical candy. But this one is very good as well. I am already out of the green version, unfortunately. Andy Han, if you're watching this, I need some more, man. Seriously. But with that, let's go ahead and have a pull off this one. Next up, we've got the setup that you may have seen in my coil cleaning video that I put out recently. The RX200S with the Velocity V2 on top. Now, one really cool thing I like about this one is that it matches my new plugs. See that? Kind of that teal thing going on. Really love it. But anyways, yeah, I've got the Velocity V2. I've got some fused Claptons that I did a while back. That's actually why I wanted to clean them up, because this is the only setup that I'm running fused Claptons on right now. And I really like fused Claptons. What can I say? I guess I'm getting a little bit bored of my spaced coils that I've been toying around with for the past few weeks, but with that, I always can go back to some fused Claptons and have a good time vaping on them. On top of here, I'm using this Vapetasia Killer Custard. They came out with these 100 ml bottles, and they'd sent me one. I did take a look at this stuff a while back. I did a juice review on the Vapetasia line. This is the exact same stuff. They haven't changed anything about it, but they kind of rebranded it and repackaged it a little bit to come in these big old bottles here. And yeah, I mean, it's Killer Custard. It's great. It's vanilla. It's pretty standard stuff. I was vaping the blueberry custard, or the blueberry parfait out of this one, but I decided to switch it over to this because I have the blueberry parfait running on my Predator, so I wanted to try out the vanilla custard, and I've been blowing through it. I'm about halfway through my 100 ml. And that's just because I never stop vaping it. Honestly, this goes really well with coffee and things like that. So with that, let's go ahead and have a drag off this. That is delicious. Well, next up, we've got the NV Fit, as I talked about in my first impressions, vaping on the Screwbacko flavor, which I just put in there today, and I've been digging it. And I've just kind of got into this strawberry mood. I don't know what it is, but I just got into this strawberry mood today, and I decided to put some strawberry flavors in my little pod systems. And yes, I am in flavor country with these here. I've been loving them, and yeah, I don't really feel like vaping anything else, to be honest with you. I find myself kind of preferring these over my bigger setups recently, and yeah, let's go ahead and just have a puff off of this. It's such an odd mix, but it's just so satisfying. I don't know what it is, but I can't get enough of it. Kind of reminds me of Tobacco from The Simpsons, if you guys are Simpsons fans out there, which you don't know why it tastes so good, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And finally, we have the little fix here. This guy has been treating me well. I use it all the time when I'm driving, and it's warmer weather now in Massachusetts, so I'm rolling down my window. I've kind of got this thing in between my fingers. I got my arm on the windowsill, and I've been loving it. So I think we actually hit 80 degrees today, which is amazing. It's just nice to have that warmer weather back and be able to open up your windows and get that breeze going in. But another strawberry flavor. This is the hard strawberry in here right now. And yeah, this is just one of those like strawberry hard candy flavors. Very plain and simple, but at the same time, really, really enjoyable. So yeah, let's take a couple puffs off this. So at the end of the day, it's a pretty basic flavor, but it's still a nice departure from all the JUUL flavors that I've been vaping on recently. Just nice to switch it up a little bit from time to time and get yourself something a little bit different in the nicotine salt category. So there's that. And that about wraps up what I've been vaping on recently. And let's go ahead and move on. Vape drama alert. That's right, we've got some vape drama for you guys this week, and the main focus of this topic here is mainstream YouTube channels bashing vaping. Now, there's two examples that I found recently. First and foremost, we have Matt from Suck My Mod calling out The Verge YouTube channel on bashing vaping. And for those of you that don't know, The Verge is a tech YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers, and they made a video all about how vaping is bad. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, they are completely ignorant about the actual, science behind vaping and everything else that, our industry represents, which is obviously tobacco harm reduction at its core. But they just go out there and bash how vaping looks to the general public and e-cigs exploding. They show video clips with funny music and just trash us from start to finish with their video. And Matt made a lot of good points in his video. Of course, I'll link it down there in the description below. Basically having to deal with the public perception of vaping, which kind of goes right into our next video here. The next video we're going to be talking about is the Good Mythical morning video, where they brought in the Surgeon General. This was on their second channel, which is Good Mythical More, which has over 2 million subscribers. Now, their main channel has over 12 million subscribers, and I'm sure their total social media reach is well beyond that. So, obviously, the Surgeon General came on and was talking about the youth using vapor products and how it's bad for their developing brains and how the flavors are going to be tempting to them and how vaping has tripled amongst youth within the past years, and etc., etc. It's just something that we've heard a million times before from everyone that is basically anti-vaping. So this is really not new information to us. He spreads this message every single place he goes. However, this is something that's going to be watched by millions of people potentially, and going to have that sort of impact on public perception of vaping. Now, they do not mention anything to the tune of how this will help millions of people quit smoking in the US. The only thing they focus on is the negative impact on youth using these products. So for me, that's kind of a bit of misinformation. It's kind of leaving out some of the science. They also go on to say how vaping is bad for you, period, full stop. I mean, that is fully, completely, undeniably ignorant in my opinion, and it is completely unacceptable because you can't discernibly say that when you in one breath say we don't know and then the next breath you say it's bad. You cannot say with that much certainty that these products are going to be bad for you. That's all there is to it. I mean, if you're really concerned about public health, then do the research and find out a little bit more about these things before you go around and bash them and talk about how it's going to negatively impact our society as far as our youth is concerned. But the real thing here with these two little topics that I am covering in this section of this video is how it negatively impacts the public perception of vaping in general. Now, with both of these videos, you're talking about millions of people viewing them from all over the country and the world, and it's going to, turn some heads. It's going to make some people maybe second guess vaping and share these videos all over the place with their friends and family, say, look, vaping is bad. I mean, personally, I get tagged in plenty of stories where people prove that vaping is bad for you. And time again, I have to kind of fight the good fight and argue with these people. But with that, we need to turn this whole thing around. And by covering the topic of vaping and improving health, etc., I feel like, every single one of us can impact the way people feel about vaping. So let's put it this way. The next person that you that comes up to you and say vaping is bad for you, don't just brush them off or curse them out or anything like that. Do vaping, do the vaping world a favor by correcting them. Obviously bring up the scientific topics where, the Royal College of Physicians says that it's 95% safer for us, etc. There are talking points that you can use. Of course, go to CASA. There are plenty of studies there for those of you that are concerned about the science factors. But this kind of brings up a whole other topic, which is the other side of YouTube, the side outside of our bubble here, and what they think of vaping. I mean, for those of you that are watching this video right now, this is nothing new. You guys have been watching videos, not only my own, but probably several other YouTubers as well. And with that, you kind of are living under the vaping YouTubing blanket, basically. One thing that we have to do as far as getting our message out there is try to reach a different audience, you know, try to impact a current smoker or someone that may be interested in something else besides just vaping. So I feel like there should be more channels dedicated to not only just vaping, but also some other things, you know, other things that may have nothing to do with vaping, in fact, like, you know, tech channels and, you know, just pretty much anything. I mean, there's a YouTube channel out there for pretty much everything nowadays. And with that, I feel like there should be more YouTubers that may vape, but have a YouTube channel that's unrelated. So hopefully those people kind of, you know, start talking a little bit more about their, the way they quit smoking, basically. That's really what I would like to see in the near future, is more YouTubers talking about how vaping is good and the better side of vaping and the impact on public health in general. I'm saying, you know, as far as the millions of current smokers out there in the US, we really need to change some people's minds about what we're doing here, what we're trying to do. So that's about all the topics that I had to talk about in this week's episode. Real quick before I sign out, I do have to give a couple of quick shout outs. First and foremost to vape mats. If you guys want to get yourself a vape mat, then make sure you click the link in the description. It's just vapemats.com and use the coupon code DailyVapeTV for 15% off anything on the site, not just my mat. So make sure you check that out. I am now a PAX affiliate, so if you guys want to get yourself a JUUL or JUUL accessories or pods or anything like that, make sure you click my link in the description down there. Also, Native Wicks, if you want to get yourself some Native Wicks cotton, they help me out and give me some cotton for Fresh Build Friday videos, so make sure you show them love by buying some cotton. Also, Vape Finder. Vape Finder is awesome. It's an app over there in the UK across the pond, and they're also expanding over here to the US as well. So if you want to find some deals or a vape shop or look up some reviews like my own, you can find them on Vape Finder app for Android and iOS. So make sure you guys check that out, especially if you're over there in the UK and Europe. But with that, that about does it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget you can click that little notification bell down there next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below, just on anything that you want to talk about. I am all ears, and I'd love to talk to you guys. Also, check out the links I have in the description for all the products that we mentioned in this episode here, as well as the advocacy links too. So make sure you check those out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on! Phenomenal.